Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Laura, I am going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Roxanne. I'm Laura, and I am a fraud analyst here at Neighborhood Credit Union. I see scams every day. And I've seen that there are a lot of scams that people are just not aware of, they're not educated on. So I wanted to host this webinar so that members can understand what's going on out there, stay up to date, and so that they can know how to keep their money safe so that they are not victims. They are fraud fighters.
Mm.
Okay, give me just one moment and we will start our presentation.
Well, we will also send out a copy of this presentation as well in that email. So just so you guys are aware of that.
Give me one more moment. It's still
Okay.
popping up. Okay. All right. Can you see it on your screen,
Yep.
Roxanne?
Yep.
Okay,
I sure
perfect.
can. Looks great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So keeping your money safe in 2023 is what we're going to go over. As Roxanne said, if you have any questions, please email us at social@myncu.com. This is an informational webinar, so we won't be having a Q&A at the end. So why is it important for us to talk about scams? Losses to scams in the United States were almost 5 times higher in 2022 than they were in 2019. As you can see, these losses are by billion. So in 2019, there was $1.9 billion lost due to scams. And if we're looking at 2022, there were $8.8 billion lost to scams. And this data was provided by the FTC.
Was there a certain type of scam that was reported more than another? Or like what was the most reported scam?
I'm glad you asked. So coming in at number one is imposter scams. I'm sorry. These scams are done by scammers that are pretending to be somebody that they're not. Could be law enforcement. It could be a family member. It could be even a neighborhood credit union employee. And the second one is online shopping scams. Purchasing something from somebody and either not getting a product and just having your money taken from you, or maybe you're a seller of a product and you don't get your funds for that item.
Mm.
And then number three is a sweepstakes scam, and that is where somebody might receive a phone call, a text, an email saying that they are a winner, and they'll either get like a fake check or they're told that if they pay the X amount of money, they will get X amount of a prize. So, for instance, you could send the scammer $7,000 and you might get $700,000.
Hmm.
So, who's at risk of being a target for a scam, you may ask?
Yes.
Anyone and everyone. This is data provided by the FTC, and there's so many different scams. It really just depends on the age range as to who is more susceptible for a scam, but anybody could fall for any of these. And just because you're a target for a scam does not mean you have to be a victim. So I want you guys to be able to know what to look for whenever somebody is attempting to scam you. Or maybe you're applying for a job or wanting to get a loan. Uh, these are just things that you can look at to see if it's fraudulent or not, possibly. So it's been proven that fraud awareness education can decrease a person's chance of falling for a scam. Now, I know it says that it's for investment scams. That's also another really big type of scam that goes around, but this applies to any type of scam. And it's not just learning about it once, it's going over information and keeping up to date with it periodically. And you can look at the study too here once we make the slideshow available to everyone. So what we want to do today is talk about the most common types of scams that we're seeing. We're going to go over stolen checks. We're going to cover identity theft. And then we're going to talk about ways that you can protect yourself from being a victim of these scams. And then finally, we're going to tell you how to report fraud and file complaints regarding scams. So the most common types of scams. First one we're going to cover is imposter scams. These are where scammers pretend to be someone they're not in order to get someone to send them money or give the scammer their information, personal information like their bank account information, their credit or debit card number, etc. So the first type we're going to go over is government agencies. This is where somebody pretends to work for like the IRS, maybe law enforcement, Social Security, so that they can get information from a person. Now, I wanted to show you guys some examples just so that you have an idea of what to look for. Just because these examples exist doesn't mean there aren't other types of ways that government agencies will try to scam you, but these are some really common ones. So an example of an IRS imposter, this was a letter that somebody sent out pretending to be the IRS. If you see at the top, it shows that the address is to some Austin processing center. If you look up the IRS, that is not an address to the IRS. And down here, there's like some typos, and it says that they need to be paid immediately. When the IRS asks you to pay them, it's going to be, they want it in a check written out to the United States Treasury and not to the IRS or some other company. Another example is a law enforcement imposter. Now, this person actually sent an email from a police officer's email address. The email had gotten hacked, so the person that received it, okay, this might be a police officer, but this is a fake email. As you can see, there's some typos, and then there's like just a random link in there. And there was another one that I found from Social Security. It was a voicemail. This is a transcription of the voicemail that you might get on your cell phone. And they were stating that there was criminal activity tied to their Social Security number and that they need to call this number before they get arrested or there's like legal proceedings that occur. Don't fall for the scam. Government agencies are going to call you, or they're not going to call you, sorry. They're going to contact you by mail first. So if you received a text, an email, a phone call, don't click any links and don't answer calls from anyone you don't know. It might say IRS on the caller ID, but people are known to spoof numbers. And when I say spoof numbers, they have the technology to make it look like another number is calling you. Government agencies are never going to contact you randomly, demanding you to pay them or request personal information from you. First of all, other government agencies, so they're going to have that information already. And second of all, you have the right to find out what's going on and possibly argue against the request of payment. And if you receive a phone call, email, or text from a government agency, you can go to the government agency's website and find a valid phone number to call them and see if they were trying to, in fact, contact you. So the key thing here is to not act immediately. Type 2 is going to be tech support scams. Scammers are going to pose as like a customer service or tech support agent, and they're going to contact you by text, email, or phone call, stating that they can resolve an issue related to like a compromised email, a bank account or credit union account, a virus that's infected your device, Or they might say that there's like a software renewal licensing that needs to be taken care of, like your antivirus software is about to expire and they need you to make another payment or sign up for another year. Some common methods. The first one is going to be web scams. So a scammer will create websites and make you believe there's an issue with the computer. So what happens is a person might go to a legitimate website, but there can be ads on the website that are actually have malware, or they send you to a website and then malware can be like instantly installed to your computer. The second one is, again, it's malware. So a scammer is going to run malware to display a fake error on your computer or software program to steal data and install other malware. There might be like a pop-up on your screen to call this number. Um, and to explain malware, it's a software that it takes information from your computer and it causes issues with it. And our third one is phone scams. So the person calls and they pretend to work for a tech support team and they state they're calling to resolve a problem regarding your computer. Um, so here is an example from a tech support scam. It's somebody claiming to be from Geek Squad. They're saying that there is an amount that's been charged for services, and to call this number if they need assistance. And the customer, they may be like, what? I did not authorize this. And they might call that number. So what are some ways to protect yourself from this scam? So if you didn't request any assistance with a compromised email account, there's not any issues with your computer, you're not going to expect a random call out of the blue from tech support. If they're going to call you, it's because you requested them to. So don't click on any links or respond to a scammer posing as an employee for a tech company. Again, they might spoof the number and make it look like that Microsoft is calling you or Geek Squad or whoever. The second thing to do is to keep your devices safe. So keep in mind what you click on, what software you download. Antivirus software can be really helpful and an extra form of security to have on your device to scan for viruses and to protect you. Now, if you suspect your device could be infected with a virus, make sure to contact tech support and don't use that device. Type number 3 is going to be financial institutions. So a scammer will call and pretend like they're an employee, like Neighborhood Credit Union, for instance, and say that you need to contact them immediately, that there's an issue with your account, there's like an unauthorized charge, somebody was trying to log into your online banking. The two most common methods used are going to be text and email. They're going to text you from like a random number and ask you to click on a link or call this number because there was a charge on your account, or they may ask you if you authorize this charge and you have to click on a link or dial that number. Or if the link may take you to a website that looks like the credit union's website, but it's not. Again, it's like a spoofed one. It's a fake one. So you always have to pay attention to the actual web address to make sure. Our website's always going to be myncu.com. And the second way that they try to scam people with this method is they're going to call from the fraud department stating that there's an issue with your account, and they're going to ask for like your login credentials, your PIN number, your debit or credit card number, and go from there. They're going to like get into your account, take your information, take funds. Here's an example of a text that somebody received. They're pretending to be Citibank. They said that they temporarily locked their debit card due to recent unusual activity. If you look at the word unusual, it is misspelled. So that is a red flag right there. And they're informed to go to this website. Doesn't look anything like a website that you would need to go to. Um, and then So what can we do so that we don't fall for these kind of scams? If you receive a text or an email from Neighborhood Credit Union claiming there's a problem with your account, don't respond to the text or click on any links. Go ahead and give us a call by calling 214-748-9393 or use the chat feature on myncu.com so that you can speak with the representative about what's going on to see if there is actually an issue with your account. If you receive a phone call from someone claiming to work at Neighborhood Credit Union, first of all, make sure that it is from the number that I provided above. And second of all, find out why they're calling you and who the person is. If they start asking for personal information like your debit card number, like the full debit card number, your PIN number, or your login information for online banking, hang up. We do not need this information to help you with your account. You should never have to provide that. That is a scammer. And finally, for our fourth type of imposter scams is emergency scams. So a scammer is going to call you and pretend like they are a family member or a friend, and they're going to state there's a situation that requires money, such as them being kidnapped, arrested in an accident. I want to tell you guys about a new method that's been going around. It's called AI voice cloning, and it's used, or fraudsters use artificial intelligence so that scammers can sound like a person you may know. They can steal audio of their voice from a video that can be found on their social media. All you need is like 2 or 3 seconds of a person's voice to carry out this scam. So the scammer is going to call, pretend to be a family member, a friend, and like they're in danger and that they need money to resolve whatever issue is going on. Now, why is AI cloning such a serious scam? This data is actually from a report that McAfee did, a study. 77% of victims lose money to AI voice cloning scams. More than 1/3 lose over $1,000 per victim. Voice cloning tools can replicate a voice with a 95% accuracy. And finally, 70% of people that were surveyed by McAfee were either unsure or believed they wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the real and the fake voice of a loved one or a friend.
This is so crazy to me. That just blows my mind. So it's so scary.
It really, yeah, it really is. So don't fall for this scam. Even if the number and the caller ID come up as a family member or friend, just make sure to see if it's that actual number. Like I said, they can spoof it. But if it starts sounding weird, the situation, the phone call, you can always hang up and call the number on your phone and see if they were actually trying to get a hold of you. 9 times out of 10, they weren't. So ask the caller a question that only the real person would know the answer to. Scammers aren't going to know that. So don't ask them something that can be found on their social media page, like where they went to school, who they're dating, what their kid's name is. Obviously, don't answer calls from numbers you don't know or recognize. If the impersonator requests money via gift cards or wires, it is somebody impersonating them. They're not, if they need money, it's usually going to be through like cash or, Venmo or Zelle. That seems like a more reasonable way to send someone money if there is an issue. If a person says they're going to send someone to your house to pick up money so that they can get out of a situation, it is also a scam. This is a common scam that we have seen going around where an Uber driver will pick up funds and they will take them to someone else. They won't know that there's money in there. They'll think it's like a package, so it's like a delivery service, but it is through Uber.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it's they're very organized.
Yeah.
Um, Romance scams is our next one. So a scammer will attempt to gain the love and trust of an individual, most commonly through social media and dating apps, to scam and steal personal information from victims. They may go as far as to start a relationship with you, just to try to scam you out of your money. Now here is one example of a fake Instagram profile. Um, as you can tell, there's only a couple of pictures. There's some people that don't post pictures. But if you see an account and it barely has any followers, or people that are following them, and there's a picture that was just recently posted, it could indicate that that person is impersonating somebody else. What I like to do is I try to look up the person and see if I can find any photos or another profile of them, because they will often try to use a username that is similar to the person that they're impersonating. And here is a fake Facebook profile example. Not every single one is easy to detect, but on this one, she does have a link that you can click on, and she says that she's waiting for you. She has 4 friends. There's hardly any information about her. It looks like the photo was uploaded an hour ago, so it looks like they probably just made this account. There's only 3 photos. So those are some things to look for. Some other things to consider. Don't give out your personal information to anyone you don't know. Do not follow or accept friend requests from people you don't know. If a person you met online refuses to meet you in person or video chat with you, do not talk to them. If they seem too good to be true, they unfortunately probably are. If someone you're talking to online suddenly starts like requesting money so they can travel and meet you because they're in like a bad situation, do not send them money. They are a scammer. And our next type of scam that we're going to discuss is employment scams. Now, with these, scammers can create fake job postings. They can send out fake recruiting emails, texts, calls to try to steal personal information. So they can carry out like things like identity theft, and of course, so that they can scam you, so they can steal money from you.
Right.
So yeah. So some employment scam examples. This is an email from a person claiming to be the hiring manager. As you can see, there are quite a few typos in the email, and they're wondering if they want to work night or day. Which one would you like to join? Um, and they're saying like a very large salary. I'm not sure what the job is for exactly. It could be for something legitimate, but based on the format and how casual it is, it seems to be a scam.
Right.
I've never received an email from HR like this before.
Right. Well, and it says the salary range will be determined after interview. So I haven't even interviewed and asking if you want to work day or night shifts. So yes, lots of red flags,
Yeah.
but it is easy to fall for.
Exactly. Example of a fake request for background check on here. That again, a bunch of typos. I period may need with the capital N. And then there's this website that I personally have never heard of, where you can go and have your like your background check done. It just seems very weird. Again, a lot of typos.
Hmm.
And here is an example of a fake job post that was actually on LinkedIn. And And what throws me off about this one is how simple the about the job is, or the job description of it. There's not many details indicating it just seems like the perfect job description for somebody just looking for just anything to do. And like anybody can get the position. And if you look at the contact the job poster, they work as an event planner for Chase.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they're wanting to hire an airport shuttle driver. It makes no sense.
No, doesn't add up.
So don't fall for the scam. Before applying to a company, do a thorough background check on the company or recruiting agency by looking at their website, social media presence, and look at reviews about the company too before applying. If you can't locate anything or you only see negative reviews, don't apply. If the company's a large organization, go to the company's website and see if there's a career tab to see if you can just apply directly on the website. Or you can call to actually see if they're hiring. If you receive an email where the sender's email address doesn't end with the company's name, it can be a red flag, especially if it's like a financial institution. That's definitely a red flag. We're not going to have any emails that end in like gmail.com or AOL.com if anyone still uses those.
Mhm.
If the company asks for money from you, don't take the job. If the company states they're sending money for supplies, it's a scam. Companies, if they need to provide you supplies, they are going to send them to you. They're not going to expect you to go out and get the stuff yourself. And if the job posting is too good to be true, it usually is. Like if there's a job posting for McDonald's and they're saying you're going to make $50 an hour, yeah, it's probably too good to be true. If the employer is overly eager to hire you, it's probably a scam. Like if they're not wanting to even go through like an interview with you, there's just red flags right there. And then finally, if they want to conduct an interview on WhatsApp or Telegram, run. I've seen so many people get targeted by this scam, and they're interviewed or they're contacting the person, the recruiter, the hiring manager through one of these apps. Anyone can use Teams, Zoom, etc., to do these interviews if they are for remote positions. And so if you want to know how to find careers on a website, you can look you typically at the bottom of the company's website, like on our website, it's under About Us. Sometimes it's going to be at the top or on the side, wherever the tabs are, but there is usually a location for it. Next, we're going to go over loan scams because this is another common one. Scammers pretend to be lenders that will give you a loan. They're going to want your personal information and have you give a portion of the money back to the company for fees or charge you upfront. They might also request your login, like information for your online banking, so that they can see that you're able to pay for the loan, or so they can deposit a mobile deposit to the victim's account. Here's an example of a text from a scammer with a loan offer. They're saying that they've been offered $10,000 and click this link so that you can get the $10,000 or finish like a loan application. Here's an example of an email. They're saying that the person's been approved, but they have to pay a sum to get the application approved upfront. So don't fall for the scam. If the lender guarantees approval, it's a scam. They do need to look at your credit and see if you're able to pay back on the loan. They do not want to just give out a loan to anyone. If the lender isn't registered in your state, it's a scam and it's also illegal. If the scammer demands payment upfront, it's a scam. If there are any fees, like for like the application or anything, that's going to be deducted from your loan. Now, don't answer calls or click on any links and emails or texts from someone claiming to be from a loan company. If there's no physical address for the lender, it is a scam. That's why it is important to look at all the information you can, like do all the research you can on a lender, and make sure you are going to their website too. If there is an address provided, Google it to make sure it matches the company. There are scammers that will look for vacant offices and lots to use as their address. So be on the lookout for that. If the lender pressures you to act immediately, it's probably a scam. And then if a lender does not tell you about fees, or, they don't provide them anywhere like prominently, then it's going to be a scam. And then if they ask you for payment through cash, prepaid cards, or cryptocurrency, it's a scam. These methods are not traceable, so it will be difficult or impossible to get your funds back from the scammer if you're using these methods. Now, when it comes to finding information about licensing to see if they are licensed in your state, typically on a lender's website, if you scroll down to the bottom, you will see something that says like disclosures and licenses, and you can click on that, and it will take you to the list of states or territories where they are licensed. And as you see on this website, they are licensed to like loan out money to people in Texas, and it also provides their license number. Um, then there's the pig butchering scam. This scam is where the scammer is going to try to get close to someone, again, through social media, dating apps. It can go hand in hand with the romance scam. Or a person could text someone to get the person to invest in cryptocurrency on a fake website or app. The victim could be allowed at first to withdraw the funds, like withdraw like their investment if, when they see that they're actually getting something out of it. And then they're encouraged to make a larger investment. And then the scammer will cut them off. They're going to disappear with all the victim's money. Now I want to show you guys an example that I've been seeing a lot for this pig butchering scam. Typically, it's from a person that you don't know. They're trying to reach someone, and they know that they're not reaching the right person. They're like, "Oh, sorry about that." And then they want to get to know the person and make it seem like maybe love at first sight, or like they want to be friends with them and that they can be trustworthy. So don't fall for this scam. Don't respond to texts or messages from people you don't know. Don't download or visit any website that you're not familiar with without researching it or asking around to like your friends or anyone that knows about investing. If you are interested in investing, go through trusted, reputable platforms like Fidelity Investments or TD Ameritrade. Okay, so I wanted to talk about mail theft because it has been such a big issue. People have been having their checks stolen so much. So last year there were over $38,000 worth of mail, like items that were stolen that USPS reported. And in 2023 already, there's been 25,000 incidents of mail being stolen. I talk to so many people every day that sent out a check and it never got to the person it was intended to get to. And it might have just been lost, but there are times where somebody will get hold of it and they will alter the check and deposit it into their account, or they will start making fake checks with the person's information. So how do we protect ourselves from mail theft? Avoid mailing checks at all cost. If you must mail a check, mail it inside the post office. There are people that steal mail out of mailboxes, residential and business. They also steal them out of the blue boxes that you see outside of businesses and by the post office. If the check is mailed out and it doesn't reach the receiver, visit your local branch or give us a call with the number of the lost or stolen check, so that we can try to stop a payment going through on that check in case it is compromised. And make sure to place a hold on mail when you're traveling. One additional thing that I wanted to add is try to opt in to paying your bills and also receiving a documentation from a company via email going online versus having that printed and mailed to you, so that it is not as accessible to other people that might steal your information. And if your check was stolen and deposited into someone else's account somewhere else, please visit your local neighborhood credit union branch or give us a call to have your account shut down and to have another one opened.
So Laura, sorry. Oh yeah, I'm not on mute. Sorry. So why is it important to actually close that account then in a situation like this?
Because the scammer has access to not only the routing number, but the person's account number, and
Right. Okay.
they can go and make fake checks. They can do other withdrawals from your account with that information alone. Plus, they're gonna have like your name and address, what information is on your checks. So
Hmm.
that's why it's important to have another account open to prevent further losses.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Next, I want to go over identity theft because it is also a issue that people go through every day across the U.S. Recently, our Asian American population in Texas was targeted. There is a issue with at the DMV where information was leaked, and so many people were affected by that. But it there's people every day that deal with it, unfortunately. And identity theft is the act of stealing and using a person's information for the benefit of the scammer. So for example, a scammer could use your identity to take out loans, and then you'll be left with debt, and a lower credit score might mess up your credit score, actually. If they have access to this information and they're opening up loans, or applying for credit cards. So how do you protect yourself from identity theft? Keep track of where your personal belongings are, like your wallet, your checkbook, anything that's just personal at all times. Do not share personal information such as passwords or PIN numbers to your cards with other people. If your items are stolen, report them as being stolen immediately. Shred any documentation with the personal information on it before disposing of it, because there are people that still dumpster dive and look for information from people in order to steal their identity. And do not write your passwords or PIN numbers down anywhere for anyone to see or steal. And I'd also like to add, be careful where you are sending sensitive information. I would not recommend sending like anything like your social security number via text or email. Um, I would recommend getting with that person in person if possible and disclosing that information if you must. But don't send personal information out via email. It could go to the wrong person, or maybe your email address or the person you're sending the information to, their email could be hacked. So if you are a victim of identity theft, please file a report with the FTC at identitytheft.gov or call the number on the slide. Contact all three credit reporting agencies so that they can go ahead and place a freeze on your credit or at least a fraud alert. Make sure to contact all the companies where you know fraud occurred. File a report with your local law enforcement department if you would like. Make sure your credit report is corrected, that the bogus charges are removed, and have all the accounts closed that the scammer opened in your name, so that your credit score can go back to what it was, and so that you're not responsible for paying for loans, then credit cards that you did not open and did not authorize the usage of. Now I want to go over protecting yourself from being a victim. We did already cover some great ways to protect yourself from some of these scams and what to look out for, but I want to provide some more, just like a generalization of what you can do. So first of all, do not give out your personal information, such as your account number or your passwords, to anyone. Listen to your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. And you either shouldn't go through with maybe the loan or the job that you applied for, or maybe you should ask somebody for a second opinion. Such as like if you receive a check from us and you're not sure if it's legitimate, you can always visit a branch and show it to us, and we will be more than happy to help verify it for you to see if the check is legitimate. Because it is a red flag if you just get a check out of nowhere and do not know where it came from. Make sure you're monitoring all the transactions on your account. Turn on notifications to get alerted about activity going on in your account. When there's withdrawals from like your debit card, if there are like sudden deposits into your account. um, Sign up to receive alerts for when your credit is ran and whenever there is a change in your credit score. So people do not find out sometimes about identity theft until months later when there's a loan that a scammer applied for, and collections is trying to get a hold of whoever's not paying for the loan, and they end up reaching out to the real person, or the real person gets a letter and they're confused because they did not apply for that loan. So that's why it's important to see what's going on with your credit and what changes could be going on. Think before you click on any link. Don't use like emotion whenever you're thinking about it. I know it might seem like there is like an issue with your card, like there is like an unauthorized like $1,000 charge, but make sure you verify who you're speaking with, like by going and Googling the company and finding the legitimate number to contact them. Avoid talking to strangers, especially online. Do not give money to anyone that you do not know. If you are selling something, make sure that you are, accepting the funds via like cash. And if you are taking funds via Zelle or Cash App from them as a payment, make sure to know who you're receiving the funds from for sure. If you cannot find anything about a person or a business on Google, just don't do it. Don't associate with them. Do not take the risk. Use Apple or Samsung Pay when contactless payment options are available for a faster, more secure purchases. So you can actually add your neighborhood credit union debit card and credit card to your wallet to use anywhere on your phone where there is a contactless payment option available. So like at Target, instead of pulling out your card, you can actually tap your phone against the PIN pad, and the transaction will go through. Um, you can use passwords that are difficult to guess. I recommend that. Use a combination of letters, numbers, and special characters. And do not use the same password for every single website. I know it can be difficult to keep up with, um, but if one password is leaked and you use the same password for everything else, they are more likely to be able to get in to your other logins, your other accounts. Um, Add the multi-factor authenticator to your accounts to log in. So if you go to settings on most websites, such as like Facebook or Instagram or even Neighborhood Credit Union, you can have it set up where your phone number or email address is added on there um, as a point of contact. So you're going to receive like a text with a code that you enter so that you can verify that you're the one logging in. It is an extra step, but I highly recommend this as a extra layer of security. Just so in case somebody does have your password, they're not able to get into your account because they don't have access to your email, they don't have your phone number. And finally, lock personal information away, shred documents before discarding them. I can't stress this enough. You would think in 2023 that people would not be digging in trash cans for information, but unfortunately, people still do this today. So what services do we have to offer to protect our members from scams, and so that they can keep track of funds in their account? So we actually have card controls and alerts. If you go on our website or in our app, you can go under debit cards and credit cards, and you're able to turn off and turn on your card in real time. I have personally done this. If I've gone somewhere and I paid for something and I felt like somebody was close by, or I saw a vehicle and it looked like they were watching me do a transaction, I have turned off my debit card after doing that transaction. And you can customize too when and where the card will work. You can receive notifications, as I said, about transactions too, so that you know exactly what charges are being done from your debit or your credit card. Um, And we do actually have a service online to look at your credit score and to keep up with it. It will alert you when there are changes to your credit score. It can also be really good to give you advice if you're trying to boost your credit score. But I receive alerts about changes. I believe I also receive alerts whenever somebody runs my credit for something. But if you want to add an extra layer of security, you can also opt in to get notifications from like Experian, TransUnion. They also have those as well. Zelle. So Zelle is a great way to pay other people, as long as you know who you are sending the funds to, because the transactions are not reversible, and you're not guaranteed to get your money back. In most instances, I've seen people do not. But it's instant and it's a great way to send money versus using cash, getting like a check from another person that could be fake. It's new and I love it. It's great. It's instant. E-statements, as I was talking about earlier, it's a good idea to receive any bank statements, credit card statements online versus getting it through mail, so that someone cannot steal them in the mail. So you only have access in your account to see this information. Online bill pay. This is a great way to pay for your bills online. Um, and you don't have to write out a check. The money is taken out of your account monthly. You can set it up. That way, it's drafted. It's easy. You don't have to worry about it. It's convenient. And you don't have to worry about losing any checks in the mail either. And finally, of course, our mobile banking app is really great so that you have access to your account on the go. So you can receive notifications from us about transactions on your account. You can easily go in and turn your debit card on or off wherever you are. You can deposit your mobile deposits that way. It's really quick and easy. Again, you can pay bills online, make loan payments. It's just, it's a safe, quick option that you have at your fingertips. And for tutorials on how to use these services, make sure to check out our how-to playlist on YouTube by clicking the link here. Whenever the presentation is available. You can also go to our YouTube page, and I believe you should be able to look at playlists and see the one titled How To. And it should give you options to see how to add your debit card to your mobile wallet and things like that.
We can also include that link in the email when we follow
Okay,
up with
great.
folks. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Roxanne. Okay, and finally, reporting fraud and also filing complaints about scams. So again, for identity theft, you're going to visit identitytheft.gov or call this number. If you want to place a freeze on your credit with the three main credit reporting agencies, these are the phone numbers that you can call. If you want to file a complaint to the FTC, you can visit their website or call this number. You can even file a complaint to the Texas Attorney General, or you can call the number on the screen. And finally, you can actually file a complaint about internet crime to the FBI on their website. Unfortunately, I could not find a phone number, but of course, I guess it makes sense if it is an internet crime.
Mhm.
And if you experience any type of mail fraud issues with theft, you can go to uspis.gov/report, or you can call this number to speak with them. And if you have any questions or concerns regarding fraud on your neighborhood credit union account, you can always contact us at 214-748-9393, or you can visit your local branch Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. We are here for you all. We want you all to be able to feel like your funds are secure in your account, and we want to help you with your financial decisions. We want you to reach your financial goals, and we want you to be safe. So remember to send all questions to social@myncu.com. And thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to join me in this webinar to discuss scams and how to protect yourself. Thank you.